Good afternoon. Welcome. This is a great day to be here to celebrate the kickoff of LGBTQ Pride Month in Richmond. I'm James Milner. I am the program director at Diversity Richmond, where I manage the Virginia Pride program. Before we get started, there are lots of folks that I just want to acknowledge that are here. We have members of our Virginia Pride Committee here, James Hartman and our Marquise Mapp. We have Cheesy Farmer, the executive director of Black Pride RVA. We have Ebony Clark from the Virginia Anti-Violence Project. We have some of our supporters from Bank of America. Thank you very much for being here. We have Michael Clapp from Stonewall and some members of the Stonewall board. And we also are really fortunate to have members of our city council that are standing behind me today. Shana McKay from He, She, Ze, and We is here as well. And then we also have a very special guest who's new to Richmond, the new Dean of the VCU School of Medicine, Dr. Artur Saavedra. So welcome to Richmond. We are glad to have you part of our community here, so thank you very much for being here. I did not prepare remarks today, but I know what I want to say, which is that us being here today is vitally important to send a strong message that Richmond, its city government, its city leaders, its organizations are united in pride with its LGBTQ community. What started years ago with just a simple request to put a pride flag up at City Hall has turned into so much more in the way that the city recognizes and stands with its LGBTQ community. We now have pride lights at Main Street Station. We have pride banners. We have a pride bus. Today, I am happy to tell you that we also now have a pride billboard, thanks to the city of Richmond and the mayor. On I-95, the busiest corridor going through the city, we now have a love letter that went up today that says, "Dear LGBTQ community, we see you, we celebrate you, we champion justice together. Love, the city of Richmond." And I can't tell you how important that message is, because this is happening in a time when A, this ceremony would be illegal in Florida, but B, when other cities, municipalities, and states are rolling back their support, rolling back their protections for LGBTQ folks, our city is leaning into it with everything they've got. And that we are incredibly grateful for that. So I stand here today with gratitude for all that comes from the city, that comes from the work of our organizational partners, our LGBTQ community, our superintendent and our schools. So I stand here with gratitude for that, but I also stand here and ask you to do the same thing, to stand with grit and determination for the fight that lies ahead, because there is a fight that lies ahead, but we will prevail and we will do it together. So thank you very much for being here today. It is now my pleasure to introduce the relatively new executive director of Diversity Richmond, my friend, my colleague, my mentor, Lisette Cross.
Happy Pride Month, y'all. Oh, come on. You could do. Thank you. Thank you so much. Y'all could do better than that. Happy Pride Month, y'all. Welcome to Pride 2023. Every year, we mark history and progress with this kickoff of Pride Month, where we celebrate the fantastic, brilliant, magnificent, fabulous, resilient, and amazing people that make up our community. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, non-binary, intersex, pansexual, and every other letter I may have forgotten are all here in our communities. Our allies, our friends, our families, our lovers, all a part of what it means for us to stand in our power. Now, y'all come back with me for a moment. Some of y'all are old enough to remember Snap, and the song is getting kind of heavy. Come on. Cause what? I've got the power. Y'all know the song. I know y'all acting like y'all don't. But let us not forget that it is getting heavy, that as we enter Pride 2023, we are entering it in a heavy time where there is anti-LGBTQ legislation being passed, where there are staff members at Targets being intimidated because they are supporting our community, where we are able to actually hold events and there are protesters there. But in the words of Alice Walker, hard times call for furious dancing. And if you have ever been to a good pride party, you know that there is some dancing going on. So let us take our dancing feet, our pride and power, and let us remember that we have the power to advocate for those that need our voices in City Hall, in General Assembly, in the school councils, and everywhere else where you have a seat of power. Advocate for our trans and non-binary students and every other person that needs your voice. We have the power to celebrate what it means to be our full, authentic selves and the beauty of our rainbow. And finally, we have the power to elevate the goodness that is going on, that we will never let darkness overcome our light and our love, that we will not just let this rhetoric be the end, but that we will take the sentiments of today as we raise this flag high in the city and remind every single Richmond citizen and every single visitor that this is a place for you, because pride is our power. So as you celebrate Pride Month, I have to give the shameless plug that pride is our power at Diversity Richmond. So come buy your t-shirt. Thank you.
You see why I like to speak first, so I don't have to follow that. Thank you, Lisette, but unfortunately the person that does have to follow that is our mayor, but he is up to the task, I know. I just want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor, for everything that you have done for this community, taking big steps forward every single year, getting better and better at what we do here. So thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, Mayor LeVar Stoney.
Give it up for James one more time, everyone. It seems to be the case that every time I follow Lisette, Lisette, thank you for being here with us today, and thank you for what you do all at Diversity Richmond. Thank you so much. Folks, there's a couple of folks I want to recognize who are with us today, a couple of council people. Folks, I remind folks this is not a one-man job. I do this with an awesome team of folks who love Richmond. We're here joined by Councilwoman Ann Francis Lambert, Councilwoman Dr. Cynthia Newberry, Councilman Andres Addison, and Councilwoman Catherine Jordan. As was stated earlier, today marks the first day of Pride Month. The first day of Pride Month in the United States of America. And I'm glad we can all come together to celebrate the LGBTQ community and our shared commitment to diversity, to equity, to inclusion right here in the city of Richmond. Now, since becoming mayor, the city has made great progress to ensure it's supportive and welcoming to people from all backgrounds, no matter the color of your skin, no matter who you love or who you pray to. For example, the city of Richmond improved its Municipal Equality Index score from a 42 to a 100, which means Richmond now has one of the highest MEI scores in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We passed legislation in support of a ban on conversion therapy. We stood in support of transgender affirming policies in local homeless services. We advocated for the Virginia Values Act. We established the first of its kind the city's equity agenda. And we supported Richmond's beloved Pride Fest weekend for the last few years. That said, I recognize there is still much more we can do as a community to better support and protect the rights of our LGBTQ community members. That's why today I commit to you that Richmond will remain a safe haven for the LGBTQ community. You see, this will remain a place where the LGBTQ community will feel loved, will feel safe, and will feel respected. And right now, currently, the human rights of our brothers and sisters are under attack from multiple angles, whether in the private sector or even by state leadership, those across the street. That's why there's an even greater urgency to do something. Hear this. 500 anti-LGBT bills have been before state legislatures all across the country. 500 since January. Additionally, there have been 17 states that have enacted laws restricting or banning gender-affirming care for our youth. Yes, our children are under attack. Suicide rates and attempted suicides among LGBTQ youth have skyrocketed. The LGBTQ youth are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicides than their peers. Some schools, households, and communities no longer feel safe to LGBTQ Americans, and we must do something about this. So, for those across the street who may say DEI is dead, I have a message for you. In Richmond, hate is dead. In Richmond, division is dead. In Richmond, discrimination is dead. And I promise you, as long as I'm your mayor, I will continue to support and protect and stand with the LGBT community. That is why I'm here today. I am here to let you all know that Richmond will not retreat. We will not retreat. This time, we will continue to advance. We will not be bullied, and we will not back down. I'm proud to share my commitment, our continued commitment to making Richmond a safe, equitable city, and today I'm here to proclaim in Richmond the month of June as Richmond LGBTQ plus Pride Month in the great city of Richmond. I'm also here to also raise the progress flag over City Hall, which will fly for the entire month of June. And the progress flag is a variation of the iconic rainbow flag that symbolizes the fight of the LGBTQ community. This flag includes black and brown stripes to represent LGBTQ people of color, and pink and blue stripes to represent members of the transgender community. Additionally, to further support of our LGBTQ community, the city will be sharing a special message, as was stated earlier, that James stated, on a billboard by Diversity Richmond to keep, so I want all of you to keep an eye out for that on I-95. Be safe driving down I-95, but keep an eye out on that billboard. Folks, I want everyone here today to know that your city supports you. Your city loves you, and we will work hard to continue to protect you. Now I will turn the microphone over to my friend and the city's first ever Chief Equity Officer, Tracy DeSager, to learn more about the city's many efforts to prioritize and fight for equity and inclusion. Tracy?
Thank you so much for that introduction, Mayor Stoney, and for your acknowledgement that there's much more work to be done to ensure that all Richmonders truly feel a sense of belonging. Mayor, you mentioned several key efforts, including your bold step to establish an equity agenda. Additionally, under your leadership, we've seen the establishment of the Offices of Equity and Inclusion and Immigrant and Refugee Engagement. We've also seen the work of the Office of Aging and Disability Services further affirmed with additional personnel brought on board to expressly support the disability community. In more recent months, we've reactivated the city's Human Rights Commission, where we are working diligently to make the process by which city residents can give voice to their concerns more accessible. We are facilitating internal equity education sessions, and we've taken an initial step to advance our equity foundation further through a recent solicitation process that will allow us to establish more expansive, unconscious bias, inclusive leadership, cultural competency training, and so much more. Moreover, we will be able to more comprehensively assess our progress towards ensuring equity is fully baked into our practices, policies, and operations, and not merely the icing on top of the cake. Our goal is to ensure that all Richmonders feel that sense of belonging and safety. That's why we continue programming like our upcoming Multicultural Festival and Disability Resource Fair, because we recognize the value in celebrating the beautiful fabric of the cultures represented in our great city. And we also understand the importance of consistently providing the resources and services that our residents need to thrive. Even with all of our efforts, we recognize that we cannot do this work alone. This is why we are members of the Government Alliance on Race and Equity, a national network of governments working to achieve racial equity and advance opportunities for all. In recent years, we've seen incredible progress in the Commonwealth of Virginia with the passage of the Virginia Values Act and the formation of the Virginia LGBTQ+ Advisory Board, and we've seen tremendous progress in our great city. But we know the rights and mere existence of members of the LGBTQ community are under attack daily. So today, as we gather to kick off Pride Month, we affirm our role in advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion. We celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community, but we also acknowledge that until every Richmonder feels that sense of belonging and safety, that our work is undone. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jamie Nolan, the co-executive director of Side by Side.
Good afternoon and happy Pride, y'all. As I'm standing here before I begin, I'm reminded of how my grandfather reminded me that rain means new beginnings. Yeah. So I feel blessed to stand here beginning to speak while it's raining. James, Virginia Pride, thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today. My name is Jamie Nolan. I use she, her pronouns and serve as the co-executive director of Side by Side. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize my partner in this work, Marquise Mapp, standing here. Y'all, for the past 30 plus years, Side by Side has been dedicated to creating supportive communities where Virginia's LGBTQ+ youth can define themselves, belong, and flourish. More importantly, we serve as a frontline resource to Richmond's queer youth seeking to be recognized as their true self, supported by caring others, and a camaraderie amongst their peers. Last year, when Governor Youngkin announced his intention to roll back policies that affirm trans and non-binary youth in schools, I was astonished. I struggled to wrap my mind around the concept that anyone would actively seek to steal a sense of peace and safety from our young people, that they would put their risk at life. We know that school policies that affirm our trans and non-binary youth are life-saving. The Trevor Project found that 45% of LGBTQ+ youth seriously considered suicide in the past year. This statistic drastically increases to 59% amongst our Black and brown transgender and non-binary youth. We know gender and identity acceptance and affirming school and home and the ability to participate in extracurricular activities as your true self significantly lowers these odds. Queer youth deserve peace. Mayor Stoney and Superintendent Cameras, thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today in solidarity as we raise the pride flag as a sign of the city's commitment and y'all's commitment to Richmond's queer youth. I would now like to invite Superintendent Cameras up to speak more on RPS's commitment to those folks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just first say, as a resident of the city of Richmond, not as superintendent, how grateful I am for events like this. People often ask me, what is it like to live in Richmond? And all they know of Richmond is what they read in history books when they were in 5th grade. And what I tell them is this is an amazing city full of incredibly diverse people, but more than that, this is a city led by a mayor who puts action and policy behind the commitment to inclusion. And so, as a citizen of Richmond, I just want to say thank you, Mayor, thank you, Council, thank you to everybody standing up here. My name is Jason Camrus. I'm the superintendent of Richmond Public Schools, and I am thrilled to be here and grateful to be invited to be a part of this very important ceremony. At RPS, we have a motto. It's to teach and to lead and to serve with love. That is right. People often ask me, what does that mean? Does that mean you just like to hug the kids and send shout outs every day in your newsletter? And that is a big part of it. But teaching with love at its core is about welcoming every single student as if they were your own flesh and blood, making sure that they feel that they belong in every classroom, making sure that they are loved for exactly who they are, making sure that every single staff member, whether lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, non-binary, feels that RPS is a place not only to work but to thrive. By the way, we're hiring, so if anybody wants to come, just let me know. To make sure that every family member feels welcome and included at our doors, even if when they were younger, they had an experience that turned them off to school because of who they are. And so to all of the members of the Richmond community, but most of all to our kids, if any are watching or see this on the news tonight, I want to look you straight in the eye and say, we love you. We need you in our schools because you make our schools beautiful. And we will not be pulled down in all the negative rhetoric that's going on at other levels of government and other parts of the country. We will stand firm in our commitment to our LGBTQ families, students, and, of course, our staff. We aren't banning books about gay families. We're buying them. We aren't curtailing transgender student rights. We're expanding them. And we're definitely not banning the word gay. In fact, we're going to say it loud and proud. Gay is beautiful. Gay is great. Gay is RPS. Again, I just want to thank everybody here for their partnership, for their support, and please, any child who is in distress because of who they are, please reach out. Make sure they get connected with Side by Side. Make sure they get the support that they need so those harrowing statistics that we've all heard about suicide rates among LGBTQ youth, those statistics cease to exist. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Superintendent Camrus. I just want to take a second just to acknowledge that with all that's happening in school boards and school systems around the country, to have our school superintendent come up and offer that full-throated support of LGBTQ kids, that is something to treasure. That's really something that is significant today. So thank you for being here. It is now my pleasure to introduce my dear friend, my colleague in this work in so many ways, the Executive Director and founder of Nations Foundation, Zakiya McKenzie.
Good afternoon and happy Pride. So I'm honored to be here again as we culminate the first day of June, recognizing it as Pride Month. Thank you, Mayor Stoney and the City Council and the City of Richmond for your support of our community and honoring Pride Month, as well as all that you do for our community throughout the year. United in Pride is the theme for Virginia Pride this year. When I heard United in Pride, I felt it was confirmation for me and a bold message to our community and our allies. There has been so much hate geared towards the community, but year after year, there are more laws that attack the rights of us who identify as transgender and gender nonconforming. Florida has taken a huge stance to destroy the lives of my trans brothers and sisters by banning gender-affirming care, targeting drag shows, bathroom access, and so much more. This seems to be a common theme in the South. As a native Richmonder and a black trans woman, I am so proud to see the progress of my city and how we have created a climate that is so much more accepting for us who identify as transgender, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and any of the other identities that make our beautiful rainbow of people. I put a call to action out for my community and those who support us to take care of one another. Be your brothers and sisters keepers. Pay attention to bills and issues that affect us. Vote on all elections. Vote on all elections. And never forget the importance of power and the power of our voices. Allies, use your privilege to uplift, protect, and support our community. We must all stand together and not be complacent because our community is under attack. We are stronger together. There are moments in our history that shows that solidarity leads to change. Today is another example of that solidarity and leading to change. This is why it's so very important for us to stand united in pride. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the microphone Captain Kim Mooney from the Richmond Police Department, our new LGBT liaison.
I didn't realize I was that short. But first of all, thank you for inviting me to this amazing event. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim Mooney. I'm the captain at the Richmond Police Department and the LGBTQ liaison. When I was asked to take on this role by my chief, I jumped on the opportunity because, just as he said it just made sense. It gave me the opportunity to be an advocate for my very own community, and both in my department and within the community that I serve daily. I am proud that I work for a city that cherishes and honors diversity. I am grateful that I work in an organization that I'm not scared to be me. My goal as the LGBTQ+ liaison is to ensure that we at the Richmond Police Department are doing our very best to serve our community with equality no matter who you are. 2023 is proving to be a very difficult year for those of us in the LGBTQ+ community. Our rights are being called into question daily across the nation. Sometimes it gets a little scary to think that just because we have chosen to be our authentic selves, that our mere existence is called into question. I want to tell you that you matter, and that anytime you come into contact with a member of the Richmond Police Department, we expect that you'll be treated with fairness and dignity, and you will be given the same quality service that we give to every citizen in the city. Absolutely. I'd be remiss to say that if I didn't put our plug in, that we are too hiring. So please come apply. One of our focus points for our department is to rebuild community trust. And I believe that through intentional conversations and community engagement, I know that we can get back to and even build a stronger trust between the LGBTQ community and our police department. I know I have my work cut out for me, but as I told the chief on day one, I'm up for the challenge, and I'm excited to do this. Happy Pride Month, everybody, and I hope that every day, and specifically for this month, that you live your best life every day, not being scared to be exactly who you are, and know that we at the Richmond Police Department have your back. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Mooney. It is now my pleasure to introduce Larry Albright Williams from Black Pride RVA.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Larry Albright Williams, and I am the 2023 co-chair of the Black Pride Planning Committee. So thank you all for your efforts today to be here. It is with my resounding pleasure, and it is exciting to be with these amazing people who share all an amazing story. Pride is for everyone. Pride is not just for me. Pride is not for the mom. Pride is not for the average librarian. Pride is not for the politician. Pride is for everyone. Black Pride RVA and Us Giving Richmond Connections is for everyone. Virginia Pride is for everyone. The City of Richmond's pride and commitment to the pride that implores these people that live in this city is for everyone. Richmond is not only a space and a city where we are safe, it is a space where we are welcome and loved. And pride is for everyone. Pride is not just today. Pride is not after we raise this flag. Pride is tomorrow, to the future and beyond. Pride is me. Pride is my mother. Pride is my family. And pride is what brings us together in moments like this that are historic and that will ring the alarm for all others to know that in their city, pride is for everyone. In their state, pride is for everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I think this is the largest and longest ceremony that we've ever had for this. But you know what? If there was ever a year to have the biggest and the largest and the longest ceremony, it is this year. So, because it sends that message that this is who Richmond is, this is what Richmond is, this is who our community is, and that we are truly united in pride. So now I think we have a proclamation, correct? You want to read a few little bars of it? Not the whole thing, but...
Whereas June 1st begins the nationwide recognition and celebration of LGBTQ plus Pride Month. Pride Month is a time to reflect on the progress we've made as a nation fighting for justice and equality for LGBTQ plus Americans, and to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to support and protect the rights of LGBTQ plus community members and the human rights for all. And whereas as mayor of the city of Richmond, I will do everything in my power to ensure the dignity and rights of the LGBTQ plus community are protected. I've fought hard the past 6 years to ensure Richmond is a welcoming and inclusive city. Richmond currently has one of the highest municipal equality index scores in the Commonwealth of Virginia due to unprecedented non-discrimination laws, health benefits inclusive of transgender individuals, and the founding of the Human Rights Commission. And whereas I will work hard to ensure the city of Richmond is united in pride, and that everyone, no matter whom they love or how they identify, has an equal place in our community. Now, therefore, I, LeVar M. Stoney, Mayor of the great city of Richmond, do hereby proclaim June 2023 as Richmond LGBTQ plus Pride Month in the city of Richmond, and encourage Richmonders to reflect on the vital role pride plays in encouraging self-acceptance, promoting mental health and well-being, in the building a stronger and more diverse city. Now we get to raise the flag. Seems to always happen on rainy days.
Yeah, we're just in. I want to get a couple of pictures with maybe with Jamie.
Jamie and these